neighborhoods undergoing fast and radical transformation. The piazza is surrounded by 4 mixed-use retail and office buildings, very open towards the inner piazza and very close on their outside. Each of the 4 architects hired to design one of the 4 buildings is given a predetermined massing with an allowance for a possible 3-meter expansion of the building towards both front and back, starting from a basic concrete structure. Thinking of this structure as an unfinished building, Lotex wraps it with blue mesh, referencing a building under construction. The mesh is then penetrated by duct-like metal extrusion with glazed fronts that extend the interior space of the building towards the piazza. Along the back side, the stretched mesh covers long oval metal grating walkways that connect all means of egress at each level, while on the ground floor, the duct-like extrusions serve as private lobbies to the offices on the upper floors. The duct extrusions, tilted with varying angles, function as entrance and display windows for the high-end retail stores at the lower floor, and as large bay windows for the offices located on the upper floors. They become billboards or large light boxes lighting up at night and floating over the blue mesh. Lotec blogs Lotec, possible blog topics. The marketing strategy in China, where developers commodify the international architect in a quite crazy and flattering face display.
Abrupt, alternating, changeable, cyclic, discontinuous, ephemeral, expired, evanescent, immediate, impermanent, incomplete, inconstant, in progress, instantaneous, interim, intermittent, interrupted, momentary, ongoing, phase, present, prop-up, recurrent, sudden, temporary, transient, transitory, unfinished, variable, vanishing.
Project CHK Container Home Kit. CHK Container Home Kit combines multiple shipping containers to build modern, intelligent, and affordable homes. 40-foot-long shipping containers are transformed, cutting sections of their corrugated metal walls and lining outer walls and ceilings with insulation and wallboard. The containers are stacked and joined to create configurations that vary in size. 640 square foot, 1 bedroom, 1,280 square foot, 2 bedroom, 1,920 square foot, 3 bedroom, 2,560 square foot, 4 bedroom. A variety of colors and patterns is available to customize the house. The different configurations of the house come in 2 models, compact or loft, the latter with a more open interior layout. In every model, a 10-foot horizontal shift between bottom and top containers generates a covered porch on one end and a terrace on the opposite one. The landscaping around the house uses additional containers to configure a swimming pool, a pool house, tool shed, and a carport. Joining the containers side by side, the cutout layouts allows for horizontal circulation, expanding at the same time the width of the container to generate larger living spaces. Double height living rooms are created for the CHK loft model for a more open layout. CHK, a wonderment of contemporary living, coming to a neighborhood near you in 2007.
Thank you.
Cool, thank you. We've actually got quite a lot of time now for a discussion. If there are some questions or anything that anyone wants to ask, maybe I'll just lead off with. When you say coming in 2007, is that real? Like, would you have customers for it, or is that just
we have a bunch of possible customers. So.
Cool.
Let's see.
And if anybody here wants to buy it, we're open for business.
How much does it cost?
A lot of nothing.
It depends on size.
Special deal for the bloggers?
Absolutely.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about the reuse of structures and what it is, the reuse of structures. So from the backs of trucks to cargo containers to airplane fuselages, and what motivates your interest in reusing materials like that?
Okay, well, you know, we don't even know what we do anymore. No, I mean, we've been going at this for about 15 years now. It's it started with the fascination of the observation of the urban and suburban environment right now in our contemporary civilization, post-industrial, and with definitely a huge amount of products that are that surround us, that we've been looking at and, you know, calling artificial nature as that something that cannot be harnessed in any way, that's just developing everywhere, from the air conditioners that come out of the windows to, you know, the containers that are everywhere and so on and so forth. So we were very interested in the way that all of this stuff was coming and overlapping on top of our lives in a very quiet way, in a way, meaning that we don't want to see it. And as architects, and that our idea was very much the one of embracing all of this and harness it for architecture design on the one hand. On the other hand, of course, it was the idea of reusing things, noticing, you know, the overabundance, the surplus of everything, and the way that things kind of end at no end. They basically just sit someplace.
And then there is the creative aspect of it, which I think is also very important for us. And it's really about, I think it ties well with the previous presentation, because it's very much about methodology, and it's more about the idea of working not off a blank screen, but starting with something. So on one end, there are the typical programmatic issues that you deal with in architecture with clients and commissions, but on the other end, there is the fact that when you don't start from nothing, but you start from an object, there is a given presence with its structure, texture, serial space, connotation, formal and spatial connotations, and we always found a lot of interest in dealing with that and engaging in a sort of dialogue with these objects. We found that from a creative standpoint, extremely rich. And in particular, the clash between program and object is a very interesting moment when, you know, there is this tension between these two parts, and it's about understanding what rules over the other, and to what extent you follow the object in the kind of decision making, also formal and spatial decision making, but also to what extent you violate the object when you cut it or, you know, bend it, modify it, and so on and so forth. So I think there is also that, a strong interest in dealing with the object itself.
So we've always enjoyed, from a methodological point of view, both the learning, you know, learning all these technologies and what they offer, and the intelligence that goes behind them. We always say that our intention is primarily one of recycling that intelligence, more so than just recycling the objects and the material per se. And on the other hand, instead, so it's the play between that, where you learn from that, and what you can take advantage of, and on the other side, instead, kind of a very violent and forceful injection of a new program and new intentions and so on and so forth.
I have a question. It's not directly about your work, but it's kind of a cliche question, but I'm asking if all your architects are coming through anyway. I'm curious about how you kind of relate politics and architecture, and just with the inherent politicality of architecture, if you guys consider politics directly in your work, or how you try to address it at all, or just sort of the relationship between politics and architecture.
No, I don't think we consider it. I mean, I think it's no, very simply. I mean, I think it's there is always your own morale and your own ethics that, of course, comes into play. And I think for us, there is an interest in the environment, but but not from an strictly environmental standpoint. Also, the interest in the environment comes also from a way to think about the future as something that doesn't delete the past. But I think